Welcome to Lean Business Improvement Show, a show designed to give you the tools and techniques to remove waste from your business. Welcome to the Lean Business Improvement Show. I do hope that you've enjoyed the shows you've listened to so far and you've taken some value from them. And of course, the whole big thing of this is delivering results. So have you got out there? Have you found the waste? Have you started to look at those areas? Have you started to think of a plan of how to bring it to life for your business? Or are you still working through the idea of the pre-plan or even the idea of getting culture involved in them? Well, that's fine. There's lots of stages that we need to explore when you're doing those ideas of lean and communicating it out and getting ownership. And it is difficult at the start to really get that momentum. But let's have a think about it. So in my experience, and I've been through quite a lot of lean journeys, as they call it. I'm not sure if I'm keen on the idea of lean journey. Sounds like you're going somewhere. And as I've said before, the idea of lean is to continually improve and to improve your business as you go. Now, a lot of businesses, they've got ownership. They've got people at the top wanting to do it. They've got a plan. They know where they want to do. They've got the top level buy-in and everyone seems to be on board. But still, it's not working. And I get asked this question a lot. Why? Why is it not working? Maybe we'll just give it up. Maybe lean's not for us. I hear this a lot. I hear a lot of people saying, no, we've tried it. It didn't work. It's obviously not for us. It's just for car manufacturers. It's just for big businesses. It doesn't work for us. We've got this product. We've got this service. It don't work. Now, that's nonsense. Let's stop right there. You are, in the words of all the great ones, on a path. And sometimes that path is going to go left and it's going to go right and it's going to go all over the place. It's going to go up and down. But you can't just say, that's it, that's not for us. If you stop trying and you stop moving forwards, then as soon as you do that, competitors will catch you up and will take your market share. So let's have a think. What is missing? I think the biggest thing that people miss is the idea of the hearts and the minds and getting the people at the coal face to really understand the benefit of becoming a lean business. And of course, a lot of people will be heard the misinformation about lean. Oh, it's just going to lead to job cuts. They're just going to get rid of bodies. And that's because people have done it wrong. In the past, they have taken out bodies and taken out heads as part of lean. And sometimes that does happen. You do have areas, but it should never be the prime. What do they say? Turkeys don't vote for Christmas. And that's a fact. You're not going to vote for Christmas if you're a turkey and you know what's going to happen. So you're not going to get people on board if the first thing they're thinking of when you talk about a lean and a transformation and being efficient and effective is getting rid of people. I've seen more good lean improvements fail than, unfortunately, I've seen succeed. And that's because we have got the planning right. We've done everything we can. You've obviously listened to the planning podcasts, so you'll know what it's about. But when it comes to it, we've just not got the engagement piece right. And as I say, there's no as queer as folk. Humans are not machines, thank God. So they don't obviously jump straight into it. There'll be people on both ends of this. There'll be people who will be really up for it and get on board straight away and be your real advocates. There'll be people in the middle who are just going to wait it out, and the people at the other end thinking it'll just pass. I've mentioned that in a couple of casts before. Now, humans love communication. They love connection. They love empathy. So what's the big thing you can do as a leader? What is the takeaway you can take from being a leader that's going through this process? Well, firstly, as we've said, you need to make sure that there is a good plan in place and you've got people's commitment higher up. And that when the going gets tough, they're not just going to throw it out the window and go on to the next subject. So what you need to do is start to look at a plan that gets hearts and minds involved. So how do we get those people to understand what this change is going to look like? There's a couple of ways of doing that. Firstly, is to get them involved as soon as you can up front. Explain to them why you're doing it. So what is the burning platform that means this change is going to happen? Because we don't like change, because the fact is a lot of people don't see it as necessary. Why change if it's working? If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I think we've heard that a few times, haven't we? But of course, that doesn't work in businesses these days. The pressure that everyone's under to change and get better is always advancing. Every time you turn on the TV, there's always pressure. It's either going to be globalization, people taking our jobs somewhere else, if you like. Automation, computers and robots and AI coming in. So you need to make sure that your dynamic workforce understand why they need to make that change. And the pressure to change has to outbalance the reasons to stay still. If you worked in Woolies, for instance, or Wilko's, another British brand that's gone pretty recently, they probably thought they were doing the right things. They were coming to work. Majority, probably 89% of the workforce thought they were doing the right things, getting on with it. But as it comes around, they just didn't have the right strategies or tactics to keep the business afloat, and eventually they closed. And realistically, you need to be speaking to the people on the shop floor about why you want these changes. If we go to some of these big retailers, the reasons that some of these have changed is right down to that first principle of lean, quality from the customer perspective. And if you're trying to be quality for everything in a big store and you've got thousands and thousands of different items you're trying to sell, sometimes you just can't get enough quality, or you just don't get the footfall to sell them. There's lots of other things that gets in the way with online and all the rest of the pressures that the high streets are under. But when it comes to our impactful leaders, we need to make sure that they're speaking directly to the people and making them understand what that change is going to look like. So it's empathy. It's being empathetic, walking in their shoes. Go down, talk about getting off your bum and going down to the shop floor. Go down and do the job with them for a shift. You'll firstly see the waste. You'll also see the pressure that they're under, and they'll start telling you how you can change things. You'll notice the clutter. You'll notice the non-organisation. You'll see the piles of inventory. And by talking to the people, you can ask the question, well, why is that inventory piling up there? Why are all those things, widgets, waiting for something to happen? Oh, it's because this lot don't run quick enough, or this area can't supply that widget at the right time for us. All those things start to come out. And then you can explain to them, when you do your piece and do your communications, and obviously this is a regular thing, you can say, look, when I was on the shop floor, I noticed this, and I think we can do something better. What's your thoughts on it? Do you think we could trim this? Do you think we could move this? And you can see how people start to get involved in it. Next point, when you've got the empathy, understand it, communicate. Communicate up front why you're doing this, but also keep the communication channels open. Have an area that's set out. Some people call it a war room. You might have a board that has the ideas on. If you're going to use boards, make sure they're refreshed, make sure you keep them up to date, because it's not worse than a board that's out of date. It looks terrible, but make sure it's regularly visited. It's got information on it. Put it as part of your meeting structure. If you've got a meeting that's run daily or weekly, make sure you have it on the agenda. You're going to talk around your lean. Where are you on this process? Like you do with safety, like you do with quality, like you do with the delivery and service. Put it on the agenda. Talk to them about that piece of it. So you've got that idea of it. And then start to look at easy wins. So if you can go to a shop floor, I remember when I work in a company, and I'm getting lots of complaints about the way that the ergonomics of the area that the people working were a mess. It meant that they were banging the hip against something. It wasn't set up right. It was a simple fix. You just removed one of the bars, moved it to a different angle, changed the seating slightly. But by doing that for the people, with the people involved, they could see the benefit themselves. What's in it for us? They started to see it. They made that change. Right, what other ideas can we do? What other areas do you think we can change? Well, how? And then you start people, well, how about this? I'm always waiting 5 minutes in the morning because the line's not set up. Why is the line not set up? Well, we don't get in early enough, and the engineers don't set it up for us. Well, could the engineers set it up for you? Yeah, sure they could. Speak to the engineer. You see how these things start to flow, and you start to find different ways of generating information into a business and giving them things that they want to do. So look for easy wins, because in this journey, you'll start to see things like simple stuff that people can do straight away, those easy ones. The middle stuff that takes a little bit of organisation, say a re-weld of a platform or a chair being moved, maybe a small investment, and then larger investments when you're talking about bringing or need to bring money in to fix the issue and make it better. So that just gives you a quick overview of how you can commit hearts and minds to getting these things over. The system will not fail if it's just involving computers and machines. It'll fail when the human connections are not made. Now, we can call it emotional intelligence if you want, but it's actually just being human. Talk to the people who do the job, ask them their opinions, tell them why we need to make the change, give them the reasons, and give them the skills and tools. And that's how you do it. Now, if you've enjoyed this video or the videos before, remember, please subscribe to the channel. As we always do, please make sure that you do that, because lots of people don't. If you do like it, share it with someone else. Please leave a comment and rate it, as everyone seems to ask. I'd love to do that. And of course, I talk about a community on here. If you've got questions on what I'm speaking about, if you've got any ideas, what if I missed something, of course, we're looking for a strive towards perfection. So obviously I'm improving as well. So send it to managementconsulting@gmail.com. And of course, at the end of this video, you can use the links here and here to look at other videos that I've created. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.